In this video, we'll talk about working with the T2125 Statement of Business and Professional Activities form. And we'll talk about the sections within that form that may be applicable to what you'll need to fill in. And here we have the T2125 Statement of Business and Professional Activities form. And what you want to do is you want to start out with part 1, the identification section, where you can fill in the name, social insurance number if needed, business name, business number, the address of the business, fiscal period, start date, end date, and you want to do the calendar year, enter that in with this drop down. Answer the question, was 2018 your last year of business, yes or no? And with the industry code, you can actually do a drop down. You can right click and choose the NAICS codes or press F6. And that will give you this selection dialog window where you can choose or you can put in a keyword for the industry code, and you'll be able to find that related industry code. Put the description of the main product or service. If you know what the accounting method is, you could put either cash or accrual. Tax shelter identification number, partnership number, percentage of partnership if you do have it as a partner or if this business is a partnership, and then you can put in name and address of person or firm preparing this form if you are the preparer. Part 2 is for internet business activities, and that's for businesses that generate income from web pages or websites that are business or professional, and you would fill in this part of the form. Fill in the question, how many internet web pages or websites does your business earn income from? If it doesn't, then put 0, and then provide that web address or URL in this section here that has the HTTP : and then the percentage of the gross income generated from the web pages and websites. And of course, if it generates 0, then you would put 0 for the percentage. Next section is going to be your part 3, which is 3A, 3B, 3C, and your 3D. Okay. Start out with 3A. If you do have business income, whether the type of income is coming from business or commission, this is the section that you would be filling in. You would indicate it here up on number 2 here if you have business income, and then put in the type of income that you're generating, whether it's business or commission. The amount that you'll be applying, whether it's gross sales, commissions, or fees, will be applied here. Now, just as a quick note here for any new users, the only fields that you can fill in are the black fields. So black numbers or black fields, you can enter data. These blue text or blue numbers are actually being calculated from somewhere else, whether it's within the form or another form or slip. In this case, this number is being calculated from a T4 slip. This number here is coming from a T4A slip, and then fees of service T4A box 28 is being calculated here. So just look out for that and be aware of that. Okay. So any other fields that is necessary for you to fill in, you can fill it in that section. Then we have our professional income, which is your part 3B section. And if you do have professional income, indicate it here. Put in your amounts necessary that you have, and then ProFile will calculate these fields here. Now this amount here will be applied to this section, Part C, for gross business and professional income. And if there's any data that you need to put in, reserves deducted last year, you can apply it into these two fields. And these are being calculated. Recapture of CCA. If you saw the video before this, you can right click the up arrow and it's going to show you where it could be coming from. 2125 CCA summary. Okay. And the last section is cost of goods sold and gross profit. And if you have opening inventory, you can apply that here. Purchases during the year, direct wage costs, subcontracts, other costs, you can apply here, and then it'll be calculated within this field. And closing inventory, if you have raw materials, goods in process, and finished goods, you can put it in this field here. So that's the section for part 3. And let's move on to part 4. And so we have here part 4, and this is where you would apply your expenses. So advertising, meals, bad debts, insurance, interest, business taxes, licenses, memberships, office expenses, repairs and maintenance, salary, wages and benefits, property taxes, travel expenses, utilities, delivery, freight, and express, and then your motor vehicle expenses, not including in CCA, which would be coming from your bus auto, would be calculated in here from that form bus auto. Motor vehicle expenses not including CCA, that's other, you can apply it here. Capital cost allowance, convention fees, private health services, plan premiums, reserves. If you have any of that information, then you can apply it here. And then of course, ProFile will calculate these other numbers within this section. So part 4 is meant for your expenses and motor vehicle expenses and other expenses that can be used or are being used by your business. So as we continue, let's move into part 5. And part 5 is for partnerships. So the only section that you can enter any information is in 9974, which is for GST, HST rebate for partners received in the year. So part 5, part 6 are for partnerships. There's also another section here, part 8, which is for partners. And a lot of people get confused with part 8 because you have the spouse's first name. If you have a partnership with your spouse, then this is the section that you would enter. You'd enter your spouse's information here, name, last name, and partnership percentage. Same with your partner's name, all this information, and then their percentage. Okay, so that's important to make sure that you fill in that information properly. If you don't have a partner, then you don't have to fill in this information. If your spouse is not a partner, then the percentage of that partnership would be 0 for the spouse. Okay, so section 6, you would fill in the sections such as your business income reduction, okay, capital cost allowance. These are all pertaining to your partner. And then part 7 is the calculation of business use of home expenses. So if you're using part of your home as an office, then you can use some of your own home expenses applied here in section 7 or part 7. Okay, and ProFile will calculate those amounts such as your heat, electrical, insurance, maintenance, mortgage interest, property taxes. Okay. Then the last section is details of equity. You would fill in part 9, total business liabilities, drawings in 2018, capital contributions in 2018. If you have that information, details of equity, then you would apply it at the bottom here for 9931, 9932, and 9933. And that's it for this form T2125. The one last tip I want to show you is I mentioned in the first video that you can apply or create multiple forms, and this is one of the forms that you can create multiple forms for. You can right click the actual form, and then there's this option for new form, and that will create another T2125 if you have another business. Another way of doing it is under form and selecting new form. Okay, so those are the two ways that you can create another form of a T2125, and you can do it with the other forms. Okay, great. Hopefully you learned something from this, and if there's any questions, you can reach us at the numbers provided for further assistance.